Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear viewers, and welcome to Harmony of Life, a brand new episode of Harmony of Life today. And as always, we're going to be always bringing out to you lots of very interesting topics, segments. Of course, we're going to start out with our Twitter topic, which we'll be mentioning today, actually energy therapies. Definitely on a very interesting topic, if you ask me. And also in our Twitter topic, we'll be mentioning anger management, anger experience, how to also express that negative feeling again. And of course, in our main topic today, we'll be mentioning students' big dream. We'll be having two very esteemed guests, Dr. Haya الفرحان, and of course, Mr. الفرحان, a legal advisor. We'll be, of course, speaking with them after, of course, our Twitter and Twitter topic. But first of all, let me welcome my good pal, friend, co-host, colleague, everything. Buddy, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm doing good.
How's it going?
I'm doing good, alhamdulillah.
I'm doing good today.
You want the show doing good, or you want the real thing?
No, the show doing good is good.
No, yeah, I'm doing good, yeah. But the real thing, you know, it's taking about a whole an hour to tell you how I'm doing.
No, it's cool.
You don't want me to express?
No, we already
express the whole anger thing.
We'll do that in the chit-chat segments.
Okay.
Yeah? Good deal?
I'm good.
All right, perfect. Good. So as my colleague just said, we are going to be having anger management for our chit-chat segment and energy therapies for our Twitter segment.
So they're both like kind of related.
Yeah.
Energy therapy, like for example, to express all of the
energy therapy.
Negative energy.
It's this thing about, you know, how my energy affects your energy and how your energy affects mine. Okay. We're all one big energy.
One big happy energy.
Yeah.
One big positive energy, actually.
Yeah.
How is today's energy, you think?
My energy today is okay. Shaky.
A range to 100, how much do you give it?
From 0 to 100?
Yeah.
How my energy is on a happy scale or on a what scale?
No, I mean, 0 to 100.
I'd say I'm operating.
0, it's really
bad. I'd say I'm operating on 60%.
It's really, you know. And 100 is like really wow.
Yeah, no, I'm on 60%. 62%.
60 is good. Well, 62. Yeah. Why is the 2% added?
They just want to look more.
You want to look more
accurate.
More accurate. Well, that's good. Well, 60% is good. You know, I think I would go around, kind of that. Yeah, you know, close. But whenever the cue is on, I try as much as possible to reach to that 90, 100 scale. You know.
I think it's not that you try. I think more when you hear Muhammad Abrar say cue. As much as you hate his voice in your ear, you kind of pop up. You get that adrenaline rush. You know, you're going on the air, and you
it's like a challenge, yeah, like a whole thing between me and Abrar. But Abrar is, you know, he's getting there. You know, his energy's always popped up. This on the energy, but definitely on the, you know, actually professional-wise, this guy is trying. But dear viewers, we'll be taking out, of course, to a small report about energy therapy. After that, we'll be back, me and the Wolster, to continue talking about energy therapy, so stay tuned.
And welcome back, dear viewers. That was a short report showing the tweets that we've compiled from Twitter on our Twitter topic, which is energy therapy. Now, a brief description of some of the better-known energy therapies follows. There's the therapeutic touch, also known as the TT. It's a form of energy therapy that developed in the United States. It is a non-invasive method of healing derived from an ancient laying on of hands technique. In touch therapy or therapeutic touch, also known as TT, practitioners alter the patient's energy field through a transfer of energy from their hands to the patient. Therapeutic touch was developed in 1972 by Dora Kunz, a psychic healer, and Dolores Krieger, a professor of nursing at New York University. Although the technique is called therapeutic touch, there is generally no touching of the client's physical body, only his or her energetic body or field. TT is usually performed on fully clothed patients who are either lying down on a flat surface or sitting up in a chair. So
yeah, true. As of course you were saying, Walid, more also information regarding energy therapies. Energy therapies, of course, it's a collective term used to refer to a variety of alternative and of course treatment based on the use of this modification and manipulation, of course, of energy fields. Some energy therapies are, of course, associated again with the system of traditional Indian or Chinese medicine. They are thousands of years old, although drawn upon, of course, scientific theories. Well, that's, of course, a couple of small introduction about energy. Although energy therapies are often associated with either Eastern or so-called New Age belief system, most do not accept actually people in need of healing to give up mastering Western religious practice or allopathic medical psychiatric treatment. That, of course, when it comes into the treatment itself and the purpose. Why do we need actually energy treatment or actually energy therapy? The purpose of energy therapy is that it can be actually broadly defined as the healing of mental or physical disorders by replacing the energy fields in the human body or by drawing upon supernatural energy or force for such healing. Some energy therapies include internal or release of trauma-related memories as additional that's also an extra purpose when it comes into that treatment. Again, of course, in general, persons who are interested excuse me, in any form of energy therapy that involves definitely, of course, physical exercise or body work should seek the advice of a qualified medical practitioner before starting such program. This actually is particularly important for a person with chronic heart or lung disease, person recovering from surgery or acute illness, or person with arthritis or other disorders that affect the muscles and joints. Some forms of energy therapy may produce unexpected actually or startling psychology reaction. For example, let me just give you an example of what type of energy therapy would be going on, and actually the lines are too small here, I almost missed. For example, a type of psychiatric energy referred to Kundalini in Indian yoga sometimes produce experience of spiritual crisis that may be interpreted by mainstream psychiatry as symptoms of psychotry or another psychotic disorder. Partition of Reiki healing having report instance of patients feeling tingles, tensions, spaciness, and out-of-body ascension, sudden wound. Wow, there's a lot of sensations going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what is actually that.
Following your Reiki thing.
My Reiki thing.
Your Reiki treatment, actually. The method is. You okay? You want some water?
I'm doing good. If you have some water, you want to give it to me at school?
I have some water, yeah. Hold on.
Let me just. Some water. Yeah, you gotta cover that.
Reiki is a holistic alternative therapy. You can enjoy the water. I'm gonna read this. It's a holistic alternative therapy based on Eastern concepts of energy flow and the 7 chakras, the energy centers in the human body. Reiki was formulated by a Japanese teacher, Mikao Usui, around 1890. It is distinctive among energy therapies in its emphasis on self-healing, its spiritual principles, and its accreditation of healers through a system of initiation. I like how it says it's distinctive among energy therapies on its emphasis on self-healing. It's like, you know, you come here, you're going to book an appointment with me. I'm a Reiki healer. You're going to pay me 1,000 riyals,
cash,
and then you're going to heal yourself.
I'm going to heal myself. That's good.
Yeah. We'll come back next week, and we'll see if you healed yourself or not.
Well, that's cool. Speaking also,
I don't know, because really, I mean, energy therapy, it just doesn't seem. it seems something here. It's in the head.
I actually truly believe in that energy thing, because
I believe in the energy thing, but I mean,
you know why?
I don't believe in it like the way that's because you have many different methods of treatment, many different schools of thought on energy healing or energy therapy. But I do believe that, you know, if you're always optimistic about something, if you're always optimistic, good things come your way. If you're always pessimistic, bad things come your way. So, you know, it's all about your energy.
Being optimistic, it's always a good thing.
Of course it is.
Being too optimistic is probably gonna, you know.
There's a fine line between being too optimistic and being naive.
Yeah.
That's the line you want to make sure you don't cross.
The point of view that I think actually, you know, is a fact. I think this actually with experience. I do believe in energy. I think, yes, energy does exist. I think a person who has, for example, if Walid comes in the room with a lot of positive energy of him, you know, I will feel something different. Like, for example, you sitting with two friends, you know, I think maybe you felt it, or lots of other viewers could probably share the same experience. When someone enters, for example, with a nice smile, a nice, you know, he has that energy with him, for example, that fills up the room, that makes, you know, that gives the, whatever you're doing makes it fun, you know. But it depends on who comes in with the big smile. It depends on who comes. You know, sometimes some guy comes, like, for example, if Halal comes with a smile, it'd be like, oh man, that's not what I wanted to hear. But it depends on the person himself. But I do believe, I also believe that energy does exist. I think I'm a person who's, let me say, also this, I'm gonna speak of the religious factors, that a person who's more close, I mean, like, for example, you during an Umrah, for example, you know, I think you're filled with lots of positive energy. You know, you're so close to currently, you know, for example, religious-wise, you're close to the Haram, so I think you feel that positive energy, you feel that wish to. And on the other side, I think this, yes, it does exist, but do you know these actually bracelets which they have, they give you energy? Ever saw it? And actually, they sell it in the stores. Ever saw it before?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Do you believe
it doesn't give you energy.
Do you think it like stabilizes the energy?
I don't know. I don't believe it.
Stable. You don't believe it?
No.
You don't think it does anything? Like it keeps, because for example, a person who has way too much energy in the body, for example, you know, probably be always, you know, always thinking, always, you know, hesitating, always nervous, you know. This is actually, I think, mixed energy. So I think the body itself, I think it's a fact that energy does exist.
Yeah, it does.
And
I'm saying it does.
And I think we should, you know, in so many ways, actually try to, you know, as much as possible, try to make it.
But I don't think a material product that you buy for 50 riyals
will do much.
Is gonna stabilize your energy. Like I said,
it's about 300 SRs.
Really?
SRs.
SRs. Well, regardless, I just think that, you know, energy therapy, it's all in your head. Only you can control
what you believe.
Your own energy.
What you believe. Yeah, what you believe. I mean,
like, what am I doing right now? I'm doing therapeutic touch. What is this? What is this? What is this? Really? Am I affecting you right now? Do you feel? Do you feel? Well, come on, really.
If I was watching, I would say, what's going on?
What are you doing?
This is.
You better not touch me.
This is being weird, buddy. This is the exact video.
But this is what it is. This is what it is. It's therapeutic touch. You get an idea that it's like a massage or something, and then you really like. You go, what? When it says, I go, what? When you're reading it, this is what I'm reading.
You go, what?
And then I'm like, what? When I get to the part that says it involves no touching of a client's physical body. You know what I mean? So what are you doing exactly?
I don't know about this.
You're just playing with my head.
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, but this is just me. But I don't know if is it a fact. I mean, there must be lots of good studies, actually, research which can prove this.
Yeah, I'm just stating my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm just stating my opinion.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't actually believe that it will help me much. I always believe in the, you know, motivation, the talk, the atmosphere itself. I think it does help a lot. For example, on the person, the way you feel, and the success.
Do you know about
nice words? Do you know? Like, for example, if you currently give me a couple of nice words,
yeah, I'm gonna.
I think this will, you know, give the energy.
You lost weight, by the way.
Thanks a lot, buddy. I can't believe that, but thank you.
Did that lift you up a little bit?
Kind of, yeah. It actually did nothing, to be honest, because, you know, it's. I know it was like, you know, very fast, but you know, surprised me.
Next time I'll surprise you.
After the show, you know, at 9:50, something like that.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that.
Nice goatee, whatever.
Nice, okay, yeah.
You know, give you options.
What about me?
You're looking good.
Thanks,
You're
man.
looking good. You know,
Thank you.
You know,
uplifted my
the whole
energy.
muscle thing is
Yeah, I'm
working out these
working
days.
out,
That's
yeah.
good. That's
Back to the
good.
gym.
Now from 62
Actually.
to 69, hopefully, at least this
Yeah.
7%.
Yeah,
My goal-
is a good increase. But
is.
let's jump away from energy therapy and jump into our Twitter topic, where things are going to get really weird. Let's go on this report. Our Twitter topic is about anger and anger management. Stay tuned.
It doesn't take a lot to make me angry. What about you? Did some schmuck cut you off on the freeway? Maybe your boyfriend accidentally shredded that birthday card your grandma sent you. So you freak out, you scream maybe, a vein pops out of your forehead. It happens to everyone. But did you know that anger is actually affecting your physical health? Hey, anger is inevitable, okay? You can't just stop getting angry. Even the world's most sedate person has uttered a few choice words in traffic. Will that expletive fest really make you feel better? Will punching a wall really calm you down? The answer is no. Sorry, but recent studies have shown that angry reactions are pretty harmful to your physical health. A Yale University study found that people with anger management issues tend to get sick more often. Their anger actually weakens their immune system. The Journal of the National Medical Association added that people who respond negatively to anger are 9% more likely to have a heart attack. Hey, that might not sound like a lot, but come on, it's a heart attack. Every percentage point counts. Other studies have linked anger to everything from coronary disease to high blood pressure. Now that we all know that excessive angry outbursts are bad for you, we're going to teach you how to manage that anger in 4 simple steps. All you're going to need is that handy-dandy well-cast journal, a little bit of time, and a teeny bit of self-awareness. Step 1, control your breathing. When something pisses you off, instead of screaming or laying on the horn, take deep breaths. Spend 2 to 3 minutes breathing deeply, in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Imagine inhaling calm blue air and exhaling that red toxic air. Step 2, relax your muscles. Unclench your fists. Make a conscious effort to loosen those shoulders and slump a little. Great posture is awesome, but for now, let those muscles unwind. I promise it'll help. Step 3, get it out. Once you're relaxed and breathing deeply, grab your well-cast journal. If it's a road rage thing, obviously please pull over. But when you get a chance, write down exactly what made you angry. Step 4, seeking context. It's important to put your anger into context by thinking rationally instead of emotionally. Think about it. Are you going to be angry tomorrow? Probably. What about a week from now? Maybe. A month? Probably not. A year? I don't think you'll remember, but by examining your anger this way, you can displace yourself from it, and you'll be able to process your anger without letting it take over your life. Let's recap. You need to find a healthy way to process your anger, or else you could run into some really nasty health problems. Remember to relax and breathe evenly, and then work through your anger by writing it down and contextualizing it. We can't promise you won't get angry ever again, but hopefully with this, you found a way to deal with it a little bit better.
Welcome back, dear viewers, to Harmony of Life. We're back after we just saw that small report a little bit ago, which spoke about anger, actually, of course, anger in general, actually, and what does it does to the body itself. Of course, during the break, we got I got a good call also from a very, one of the viewers actually who we really appreciate, Mohammed Rawais, who asked for actually a nice greeting on there. So I greet you, pal, and thanks a lot for watching. Going, of course, back to our actually main topic, which is anger in general. Lots of us actually, say or actually experience or express our anger in a very negative way. You know, we're going to give you also factors that will help you probably, when you do get angry, how do you express it, what to do, and mostly, hopefully, will also help you. says that natural way to express anger is to respond aggressively. I mean, it means to be aggressive actually during that anger. So, but anger, of course, it's a natural adaptive response to these theories. It inspires powerful, often aggressive feeling and behaviors. On the other hand, actually, we can physically lash out every person or object that irritates or annoys us. I mean, like for a fact, for example, you cannot just physically, for example, you know, take that anger out. I mean, you want to hit almost daily about 3, 5, 6 guys, probably. You know,
not me.
During your lifetime.
Yeah. You probably, during my lifetime.
Yeah, not your lifetime.
I'm not a very angry person.
During your day life or week life, let me say. Today, you wanted to smash someone in the head?
No.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. No. Yeah. You did. I got it. I was like, and of course,
I do have my angry moments.
Yeah. I mean, this happens, you know. And then, of course, says that laws, social norms, and common sense place limits on how far our anger can take us. I mean, thank God that we do have rules, laws, for example, religious also reasons which will stop us to, you know, at least express that anger in the worst way possible. People use a variety of both unoccasional, of course, process to deal with their angry feeling. The three main, of course, approaches are expressing, suffering, and claiming. Expressing also your anger feeling in an assert, not aggressive. So don't be as much as possible actually as aggressive as you can, because manners probably do the best to you. I'm going to read, of course, you know, try to go through these because there's lots of things here which are said scientifically in scientific terms. I don't think that will matter much. But finally, you can also calm down inside. This means that not just controlling your outward behavior, but also controlling your internal response, taking steps to lower your heart rate, calm yourself down, and let the feeling relax. I mean, always, probably if you face a moment where you feel angry, or where you feel like you want to physically, you know, smash the head out of someone, take a deep breath, relax, calm down, think about, you know, the consequences actually of such behavior. And then again, you know, the body when it's angry, you know, it sends a lot of very negative energy. It's also
going back to the energy thing.
Yeah, also affects the heart in general. Yeah. So just be cool, relax. Life is good, you know. If you ask me, there's actually nothing worth. I mean, to be honest, a person to be that angry. Just be angry.
Exactly, true. I mean, getting too angry just makes you
like
do irrational things. You're always cool.
I never get angry.
I've never seen you angry.
Oh, I'm always like, yes, so okay, okay.
You know? And when you're angry, you're cool.
When I'm angry, I'm cool.
You're calm. Yeah.
I have the whole Al Pacino thing going. Yeah, okay.
Here's a little information on the nature of anger. It's an emotional state that the what?
That's okay. Go ahead. I didn't finish, but it's okay. Go ahead.
Well, we're running out of time. Okay. It's. Are you gonna get angry?
No, I'm not.
Okay, exactly. An emotional state, it varies in intensity from mild irritation to intense fury and rage. According to Charles Spielberger, he has a PhD, a psychologist who specializes in the study of anger. He says, like other emotions, it is accompanied by physiological and biological changes. When you get angry, your heart rate and blood pressure go up, as do the levels of your energy hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Anger can be caused by both external and internal events. You could be angry at a specific person, such as a coworker or supervisor, or a specific event like a traffic jam or a canceled flight, or your anger could be caused by worrying or brooding about your personal problems. Memories of traumatic or enraging events can also trigger angry feelings. Sure. Now, there are psychological tests that measure the intensity of angry feelings, how prone to anger you are, and how well you handle it. But chances are good that if you do have a problem with anger, you already know it. If you find yourself acting in ways that seem out of control and frightening, you might need help finding better ways to deal with this emotion. And like you mentioned, the best way to deal with your anger is just to pause, breathe,
relax,
calm down, relax,
and
then think about the situation in a more rational and logical way, so as you don't end up doing something that you might regret later when the anger fades away.
Because I think that decisions made when you're angry, or when you're, for example, you know, when there's anger, the decision is 90% going to be not good. You know, it's going to harm you at the end. Whether it was physically or words-wise, you're going to say, well, I regret what I just said.
Exactly. And now let's move on from our chit-chat segment and introduce our main topic.
I was going to ask you a question, actually.
Okay, very quickly, go ahead.
Before that, depression, anger. Do you think that, like, for example, you can be depressed and say things, and you can be angry and say things? Do you think that's true, or do you think it's
I think no, I don't think
like, can things that can come to you,
I think depression
will hurt you, or but others
no,
will
depression and
angry?
anger are two very different things. But I think depression can cause you to be angry with yourself.
With yourself?
Yeah.
Do you think that's worse than being angry with others? Do you think you should also take it easy on yourself?
Yeah, but I mean, depression is very, very hard to control, not like anger.
It's very hard. It's hard to control.
Yeah, it's very hard. But moving on from our chit-chat segment, we'd like to introduce our
serious talk.
We'd like to. That's our chit-chat segment. We're going to go with the report, and we'll be right back to introduce our main topic for the evening, Students' Big Dreams. We're going to be having Dr. الفرحان. She's Associate Professor at the Department of Optometry and Visual Science, along with Mr. الفرحان. He's a legal advisor as well as a student advisor. They're both going to be joining us for the next 25 minutes, talking to us about what it means for students to dream big and how to get about making those dreams happen. Stay tuned.
Saudi students graduated in the heart of London at the 3rd annual graduation ceremony from the top universities in the UK. The 3rd annual graduation ceremony was held under the King Abdullah Scholarship Programme. Since the start of the King Abdullah Scholarship Programme 7 years ago, the programme has been carried out in more than 30 countries worldwide. Around 20,000 Saudi students are currently studying at universities in the UK under the scholarship programme, and a large batch of students just completed their degrees and graduated at the ceremony this year. The 3rd annual graduation ceremony was held at the renowned Royal Festival Hall in central London. The ceremony was attended by His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Nawaf and the Saudi Cultural Attaché Dr. Faisal Aba al-Khalil. Prince Mohammed bin Nawaf said the scholarship programme had come a long way since it first started and had made a number of improvements.
All countries have rights upon their sons. I would like to remind you of God Almighty, that you may be hard workers and determined to continue your efforts. I also remind you that nations are built by the hard work of their sons. Your forefathers have exerted great efforts to unite their country and build a great nation, and your duty today is to work hard to protect the nation and develop it in every field. And we all thank Allah that you are capable of doing that.
It has become a real stepping stone for Saudi students wishing to learn more and achieving their ambition. The graduation ceremony was a true reflection of what achievement felt like and the sense of how hard the students had worked to be where they were today. The students themselves were feeling overwhelmed with happiness as they expressed how they felt on this special day. They strongly felt their country gave them an opportunity to gain more and enabled them to study towards further development.
First of all, and I need to thank the King Abdullah and Abdulaziz for the chance that gave to us to prove ourselves in the best university in the UK. And this is my pleasure to be here today as well. I can't explain my feeling today because I'm really happy, and I can't explain it as my heart contained today.
I'm so happy. It's a good opportunity for me, and I learned a lot from the graduation and the study period that I have it. And I would like to thank everyone that helped me to be in this position until now.
The 3rd annual graduation ceremony concluded by a final piece of advice given to the graduates that it was only the beginning and now a more important stage had started in their lives. They will need to continue forward by fulfilling the dream of their family and country to serve the world with all the new skills and knowledge they had attained.
The 3rd annual graduation ceremony was an event to celebrate the achievements of all the students that had worked so hard to accomplish their goals. With the blessings from their family and from their countries, the young individuals have flourished into bright academics. The King Abdullah Scholarship Programme was an opportunity of a lifetime for these students, which they used to their advantage to paint themselves a brighter future.
And welcome back, dear viewers, to Harmony of Life. We're back also to our main topic here of the show today, which is of course students' big dream, and we have very two esteemed guests actually who's going to be with us today to discuss that topic. First of all, let me introduce our first guest, Dr. الفرحان, Assistant Professor, King Saud University. Dr. Hayya, first of all, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for inviting me for your program and show.
It's our pleasure, Doctor. Yeah. And also our second guest, Mr. Ahmed الفرحان, a legal advisor, Mr. Fahd الفرحان, a legal advisor and also an international youth advisor, also a very good friend to the channel too.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Fahd.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Also to me, my dear.
Thank you. Let's also go with the ladies first. First of all, Dr. Hayya, we're actually mentioning students' big dream as our topic today. What do you think is one of the main approaches, first of all, of the Saudi scholarships, which was given to our students, and what do you think is the approach currently? How do you see the students using such, let me say, of course, actually general scholarship, which helped the education and the Saudi students in general?
I think the program CASP that was introduced based on the vision of King Abdullah is a very brilliant idea for our youth, especially that our generation is known with the majority of youth, and this is a great investment for our country. And since now education is becoming part of industry, it's like importing and exporting minds. So it's a brilliant idea and I'm supporting it, especially in our days when you are thinking about scholarship, it was limited. But now I think the door is open and it is a very good opportunity for our youth to use such chance and to go abroad, have a higher education and return back to home and build our homeland.
Very well said, Doctor.
Well, Dr. Hayya, when we talk about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it's considered to have the highest percentage of students that are studying under government grants we can safely say within the Gulf. If not being one of the toppest in the world. What's your comment on that high number of students who are seeking education outside the education that's provided within the home?
It is a vital point for us. Education is not limited in a place. Education, you have to seek the knowledge and education abroad. And especially if you are going for the highest countries where education is, it reached the highest point. And when you go there, you will be exposed to different society, you will be exposed to different technique of education. Everything is different. I went there and I saw different experience. So when I return back, I have a better idea about how to build my country because I am from this country. Bringing expert to come here to build for you, okay. But if you are one of the nation, you know better the way and the know how to deal with everybody in your country. So yeah, and I think very proud of this idea because when I went to UK, the idea of my supervisor, he said your country is providing your tuition and also they give you expense of life. In our country, the student, they work for such thing and they have to provide their own money for the scholarship and for their life. So he said your country is amazing to give you such support.
Sure.
Indeed.
It's very well said. And let me ask Mr. Fahd. Mr. Fahd, as a legal advisor and an international youth advisor also, how would you evaluate currently the generation which have graduated from abroad and came back here to, let me say, of course, also help their country with their education and their new mentality and, of course, the knowledge they got?
To be honest with you, my dear, let's agree all together. That's what I want to say it now, what I say it in 2006, in 2006 exactly, yeah. And the youth of, the Congress of Youth, the 5th in Istanbul, all the international governments and youth activities, they in one area, when they told me present your country, I told them, because all the people they are thinking about the Gulf countries and Saudi Arabia specifically, they have petrol, only petrol. I told them, guys, we have another investment. It's very huge investment. In King Abdullah's age, he carrying the kingdom like a big pole on his back, crossing a huge river with a lot of challenges for another side of this river. this big poll is that the kingdom and the youth of the kingdom, when he spent all this huge amount of money about for the youth, do you imagine when they return back what they will do for the kingdom? They will do huge things, okay? And we must be to look for this kind and fields and knowledge they carry from outside the kingdom. Do you imagine in 2020 what will be the kingdom of Saudi Arabia? That's the idea. All of them, they showed and they told me they pay, the government, they pay everything for those students. I told them, yeah, even the pocket money, because we want them to focus all the time about what they want to bring to the kingdom. Okay, that's the idea. I think King Abdullah ibn Aziz, he like bring the future for very nearly for the Saudi citizens. Okay, that's the idea. I think who will come after King Abdullah ibn Aziz for generation, they will know what does king do for this country. Believe me, the scholarships, okay, it's built a huge tower, the huge tower in the world for the kingdom. You can say that's the biggest shield for the kingdom to defend and to protect every things inside the Saudi board, the science. That's the new knowledge, and that's the new weapon for the nations. That's my idea, and that's what I say. After that, when I finish the speech, all of them, they are not believed, they are searching. Wow, really? Yeah, look what.
Full scholarship.
They search about any details about the kingdom and how many amount money they spend for the scholarships. That's the great honor for our country and for our nation. That's what I want to send for our student. And the other side, I say for the people in these events, huge events actually. I told them, I think one of the members in this event, he told me, okay, there's a lot of science I search about, you sent the student to study there. When they return back, they will never find a place in the kingdom. I told them, who told you that? I have a huge idea and study, I make it. Those students, when they return back, if we don't have the place for them, we can share them with other brothers, Gulf countries, to work there, to make a nice career, nice workshop there. Then we return back to our country with more experience, or with other Arab countries. They have the places, but they don't have the experience, or they don't have the Arabian blood student. They will work harder. That is why we are now our plan is very international. It's not local inside the Saudi board. That's my vision, that's my idea, and that's what I believe about King Abdullah.
Well, I like the soundness of the idea, how it is going to be very common when you have some students who've chosen to branch out and study in certain specializations that don't really have the facilities yet in the kingdom.
In 2020, I don't believe you will get inside Saudi college, you found Afghan doctors. You found Saudis doctors. Well, that's our target, I think.
Hopefully. Well, now going back to you, Dr. Haya, when we talk about the most, it's actually a follow-up to the question that Mr. Fahad was asked. Considering the degrees and the majors that Saudis are currently seeking, what are the most majors that are required?
Most of the students, they go for medical, architecture, they go for different areas of science. And especially now, some of them, they are inventing in USA. They are becoming now like an inventors, and we have them in UK, and some of them, they have now highly recognition certificates from these universities that they are very clever and a brilliant student. And this is this is giving you a very good reflect what the future is holding for such youth when they return back to Saudi Arabia. With all this idea, with all this education, and with all this invention they provided back there.
Well, yeah,
and I think now with we have now large, several numbers of university open in Saudi Arabia, and from where I'm working, all these universities, they are seeking staff. And now, because there is no enough staff, they recruit from outside Saudi Arabia. So I think once they come back, they will find a very good established university, and they can build on this establishment. And also it will give our nation, let's say, the leadership that you can provide professional manpower to the Gulf. If we think about in terms of education in the Gulf, I think that Saudi Arabia, at the end of the day, we have now 9 universities compared to the other Gulf cities, Gulf states. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
And yeah, this is one of the things. And now some of these students, even some universities in USA or UK, they try to recruit them there.
Yeah.
Once they feel that the student is very clever and brilliant and outstanding, they start to provide, to offer him a job to work there.
At the university for research purposes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, Mr. Fahad, is simply keeping the kingdom on, making it solely an industrial country focusing on petroleum. I mean, the next step is really just to move on to a knowledge-based economy, and that's where the research comes in. Exactly. from students abroad. But right now, going on to a report about students' big dreams, we're going to go with that short report, and we'll be right back to continue with Dr. Haya Farhan and Dr. Fahad Farhan. Stay tuned.
For decades, young Saudis have travelled abroad to study at colleges, universities and medical schools outside the kingdom, but few came to Germany. In the 8 years since King Abdullah inaugurated the programme to sponsor Saudi students to study abroad, that has changed. One man who knows the benefit of studying in Germany is the Saudi ambassador in Berlin, Dr. Osama Shabokshi, even though he completed his studies long before the current programme started.
120,000 students are abroad the month, male and female, who are studying in the various fields: medicine, engineering, literature, all other aspects of study possibility. They are studying everywhere, trying to seek the knowledge and wisdom so that they can come back to Saudi Arabia. They'll melt in the port of Saudi Arabia, and they will give their experiences there in Saudi Arabia, so that they can serve the country and modernize the way they are living to the 21st century. That's what he is hoping to.
But isn't there a risk that young Saudis who spend up to 10 years abroad will lose touch with their own culture and their own roots?
Saudis who have been abroad studying, they might adjust to the society they are living in for a certain period of time, because they have to live there. But when they go back, they return back to their own feelings and to their own way of life, which is in their heart, which they have been brought up with. Therefore, we do use our knowledge which we have gained in those countries, but reflect it back into our country, in our own society, the way we have been there. We try the best for our country. It's an honor for us to serve our country, every one of us in his position.
Dr. Talal Yusuf is the Kingdom's acting cultural attaché in Berlin. He runs the Foreign Student Support Programme based in the Saudi Cultural Bureau in the German capital. What does Dr. Yusuf see as the special benefits of foreign study?
Saudi Arabia was never occupied by foreign countries. So there is a need actually for the Saudi people to be exposed to other cultures, to get more information, more knowledge, and to be updated to what is going around in the world. So this program is actually answer the needs of the country. Saudi Arabia has 5 years plans, and those programs from early days until now is answering this need. From 2005, we start King Abdullah program, and with large numbers. So every year, not less than 5,000 to 6,000 are having a scholarship to study abroad. For instance, in Germany we have almost 1,700. In Poland, almost 1,000. In Netherlands, about almost 400. In Sweden, more than 170 students. This is almost the number. So it's around 3,000.
Then it was time to talk to one of the programme's beneficiaries.
And welcome back, our dear viewers, to Harmony Flight. We're back, of course, with to today's topic, Students' Big Dream. And we also have two esteemed guests, Mr. الفرحان and of course Dr. Haya الفرحان. Dr. Haya, before of course the break, you mentioned also a very important information regarding education abroad. You educated abroad in the UK, and now, mashallah, you're an educator. And I think that's a thing to be also very proud of as a Saudi female, also currently being part of the educators here for the new generation. The education theory, which me and you, let me see, of course, this generation also were educated on. Now, after 5, 6, 10 years currently, you get the education where you come back here. Do you think it's developing, it's raising up high, you're giving a different theory to the education theory? Is it being different? Is it, let me say, of course, more focused on, more specifics, more specialized in specifics?
I will speak to you from my experience. I returned back home. I was the first Saudi with PhD in my profession. Okay, so we, and with my other colleagues from the male side, we start developing a new curriculum for our profession before we have an old curriculum. So we introduce a new program, which is the OD program of Dr. Basariyat, which is similar to what it's being taught in USA. So this is based on what we learn, and we come back and we want to reflect it on the ground. Beside that, we make some agreement with the international universities like Salus University, which is one of the first universities in optometry field, and now we're having a program for a PhD for those girls who are less fortunate. They don't have muhram to travel with them, so that they go every summer to have their courses, and then they come back to continue their education and to raise the standard in the department. Also, we have a plan, and we open a master degree in our department, which was the first master degree in the Gulf for optometry. So this show you, when you go abroad and you see the technique of education, the knowledge, you come back and you said, I want to have a replicate and a better replicate in my country. So all these events happen when the Saudi, they return back from abroad. When
the last generation came back.
Yeah, so this is what we are seeking. When we go and have higher education, we come back and build our country at the end of the day. So this is my experience, and I think now I feel it is very successful experience for us, because now the number of female in the department, they raise from 1 Saudi to 20 Saudi with master degree. We have now 10 females, they are going abroad for a PhD. So all this is how to build your country.
True, Doctor, true. Just until, of course, we just have technical issues with the mics to be fixed. Let me just get a comment from Mr. Fahad regarding the same topic. How would you evaluate or see the future also when it comes to education in the kingdom here? Now we're getting education from abroad, the UK, the US, with the West and Pacific actually.
Yeah.
How would you? I mean, you mentioned a very good word. You said at the year 2020, there's going to be a huge development when it comes to education. How would you see it and imagine it after, let me say, 5, 6, 7 years?
I believe when you read day by day the news, like the international news, and the local international news side, every country from Europe or from America or Latin America, but you can say that Saudi students are like armies, they conquer the world now. Yeah, even in Ireland, I think there are 7,000 Saudi students. True. Do you imagine? That's a big, huge army, but not to conquer the country, just to practicing the knowledge and return back. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. What I believe, day by day when I read the news about what the Saudis they do, their international day, they are like ambassadors for the kingdom.
Indeed.
Exactly. They are, and you know, that's the Saudi mentality, how he presents himself like Arabian man, a noble Arabian man. He changed the idea about the Saudis nations, okay? Also, he presents how he's so clever, because I'm not saying that like to make the Saudi youth shine, but that's the reality. They have high degrees now there. And some college, they told them, hey, can you stay here? We'll make for you a nice career also. All of them, they say, no, I will return to my country. Why? because he don't spend all these years, like 4 or 5 or 6 years in America or whatever in Europe, to stay there. No.
Exactly.
He wants to return back because he knows there's something he wants to change in here.
And he wants to also give back to the country.
Exactly what they give it to him.
Exactly.
That's the Arab-style noble feeling for his country.
Indeed. Mr. Fahad, thank you so much for your
Me too,
input.
my dear. I'm so glad to see you.
It's our pleasure to have you. And as well, Dr. Haya, thank you very much for your input and spending this time with us, both of you, for giving us this information.
Thank you.
Those were our guests, Dr. Haya Al-Farhan. She's an assistant professor at the Department of Optometry and Visual Science at King Saud University, along with Mr. Fahad Al-Farhan. He's a legal advisor as well as a youth advisor. We'd like to thank them both again for joining us in the studio, on the program, and giving us their insight on students' big dreams and how to achieve them. On behalf of myself, Walid Saleh, and my colleague, Walid bin Khamfour, and the entire team, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of Harmony of Life. Coming up next is the news. Stay tuned.